Today I wanted to take a minute and do a take 2 on my previous video, How to Witness to an Atheist.
Hey, I recognize that eyebrow. Yeah, it's this guy again. Thank Atheismo for that distinguishing ocular fuzz. Otherwise, I would never have realized I'd covered this guy before due to his complete lack of anything that might make him recognizable. Anyway, you said something really stupid about atheists last time. Let me guess, you're gonna say even more.
So I made my previous video, How to Witness to an Atheist, based on teaching Christians how to witness to atheists.
Yeah, it was awful. It was extremely bad advice and mostly was just you making stuff up about how atheists think and the reasons that they do things. It made you sound like an absolute moron, and I would suggest if you are going to talk about atheism and or atheists again, maybe you should actually know anything about them first.
And that was kind of the whole point. I want to equip Christians to go have conversations because,
well, you did a piss poor job of it. And I think anybody who did take your advice was probably laughed out of the room because of how fucking stupid they would have sounded. And if they had any self-awareness at all, would be so embarrassed by the sheer magnitude of the cringe they experienced that in and of itself would become proof positive that no loving God does or could possibly exist in the world, where someone could say something so stupid without getting struck by lightning before the words came out of their mouth to spare the others around them from hearing them.
Honestly, I think many Christians want to talk to their atheist friends about God, but they're really not sure how to do it.
Well, there is some very simple advice on how to talk to your atheist friends about God, and it all depends on if you want them to remain your friends. If you don't care that they find you an insufferable jackass, trying to force your worldview on them and possibly just out and out stop talking to you ever again, do it. Doesn't even matter what you say, just spew forth constantly, they'll be gone before you know it. But if you actually like them as people, and at no point they have sat you down and said, "Hey, dipshit McGee, tell me all about your God. I'm genuinely interested and would love to hear what you have to say." If they don't do that, don't fucking bring it up. If they wanted to go to church, you know, that big building where that's all people talk about, they would have gone to church. If they are hanging out with that guy who's a Christian, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it, it's probably because you don't make a big deal out of it. And if you think it would make their lives so much better, well, you better make damn sure you're actually having a better life than them. Because chances are, if you feel the need to force your opinions on other people, it's not actually that great.
So I wanted to equip those people. However, that is not the spirit in which the video was received.
I think that's exactly how it was received. You said some stupid shit about how atheists are and how to talk to them. I responded by telling you how you're wrong and probably had some colourful turns of phrase about intellect or attitude in there. Why? How do you think it was received?
In fact, what happened is this video got a ton of comments from atheists who found me to be a condescending jerk.
Oh, I wouldn't call you that. I called you a giant fucking dickhead. It's completely different, because you see, condescension requires intellect, and penises are all instinct, and not a whole heap of smarts, so they just do the thing that they want, consequences be damned. Now, of course, I don't actually think you're a giant dickhead. You're probably a nice guy. You just have some really fucking stupid opinions that you likely got from other people and thought sounded good. Unfortunately, none of your opinions about atheists, at least in that video, came from atheists. And that's where you're gonna get yourself into big trouble, me bucko.
They didn't like it. In fact, there was one faulty assumption.
Only one? I don't know, man. I watched your video. It was like faulty assumptions squared. It just went from one to the next, going down a spiral staircase of just awful ideas until you hit the bottom, cracked your head open, and your brain fell out, which explains a lot.
Which is, I think, every atheist watching the video thought I was talking to them.
Oh, you meant us. And hey, way to prove my point about you and faulty assumptions. I mean, right there, that was extremely faulty. And now I'm not going to say that no atheist thought that this was for them in a broad sense, but no, those of us with the intellectual prowess of a bar of soap and above all knew what you were doing. It was just really dumb, and we used it as a platform to talk about the things that far too many of your lot say about atheists. aka dumb shit. We treated it to an extent as if you were talking to us, but I mean, that's how a lot of response content works. But that doesn't actually mean that we think that it's directed in our direction. Damn.
And I wasn't, because I was talking to Christians, but that's okay. And I've had some really cool conversations come out of that.
That's fair. I mean, shut up, you're an idiot. It's how most people talk to me. But again, no, we did understand. And just because you didn't get the reaction you were expecting doesn't mean you didn't get the reaction the things you said deserved.
I've got to have a great interview with Godless Engineer on his channel.
Interview? That sounds, I don't know, a little grandiose. So I had to check out, and yeah, it's framed as a discussion from him. I mean, an interview is about a person, not usually talking about the things they said. I know it's a little petty and pointless, and maybe he just used the wrong word, but I looked into it, and that was actually effort. So damn it, I'm gonna say the things.
Talking about that after he made a video where he actually gave me a quote, which is why I'm wearing this shirt, which said, he called me a ZZ Top version of Ray Comfort, which I took as the best compliment I think I could ever receive.
Oh god, that's depressing, and really puts into sharp relief the exact type of individual we're dealing with here. I mean, if Ray Comfort is not only any kind of standard, but someone you actually look up to, my goodness. That's damning in and of itself. Also, as much as I did go find the stream, I'm not watching that shit. It was over 2 hours. And if he managed to learn anything about not being a big old dumbass in it, well, you would think it would turn up here. But, well, he's already screwed up almost everything he said. And then there's the Ray thing, and I'm not holding out any hope is what I'm saying.
But anyway, I got to have a conversation with him and some other people on their podcasts, but
well, you didn't come on mine, which is good, because I don't have one. It's a terrible stream for terrible people. And also because I didn't invite you, since I almost never have anyone on but the delightful Mrs. Sick. So had you been there, shit would have just gotten real weird real fast.
Today I wanted to do take 2 on how to witness to an atheist. And atheists, if you're watching, this is for you.
Well, of course it is. Much like whiskey, everything is for me. But I'm looking forward to seeing how badly you can screw it up when you actually talk to us on purpose, instead of about us behind the bike shed with all your little mates.
And so I want to start off and say I'm sorry that you misunderstood the last video.
Translation. I'm sorry that you are so stupid. Okay, thanks. And again, no one misunderstood it. They responded to the things you said. It didn't matter who you were saying them to. It mattered that they were wrong. When you come onto the internet and make a public video, I don't know if you know this, but everyone can see it. And I know this will sound wild, but they also get to respond to it, even if it's not for them. Shonking, I know.
I know that sounds like gaslighting a little bit, but really.
That's not fucking gaslighting, you goof. It's more a difference of opinion. You thought you were right, and we all knew you were wrong. That's not gaslighting, even when the way you put it is just kind of dickheady. Not that anyone would call you that, but just to make it clear, for your future reference, gaslighting is a deliberate attempt to make someone question their memories/sanity. It's the difference between us having a different take on a particular subject and you going out of your way to convince me at every turn that you didn't even make a video. After all, what's a YouTube?
I didn't mean it to come off that way. That was not the point. And there's a couple problems when you deal with this topic. And so, if I could speak directly to an atheist and understand the Christian viewpoint.
If you could talk directly to an atheist and understand the Christian viewpoint, damn, you don't even understand your own viewpoint. That's just depressing. Although I'm sure that's not what he meant to say, which is apparently a lifelong pattern with this guy. I assume you meant get us to understand the Christian viewpoint. And honestly, there's still so much wrong with that. One, the assumption that many of us don't understand various Christians' viewpoints, and that if we did, we wouldn't be atheists. That's rarely the case. And that, of course, there are, in fact, many of them, not just the one. There's a reason why denominations exist for a start, and that's not even accounting for various personal differences. So, yeah.
I believe that God is almost impossible to miss.
Oh my god, that was horrible. Edit. What is with people that I cover and their complete aversion to reshoots? I get it that this shit takes time. I know I shouldn't complain. I mean, my non-existent God, at least there's editing, but damn. And you think God is almost impossible to miss. Okay, but, and hear me out, why do my RPG rounds keep going through the guy? I mean, he's supposed to be everywhere, so my firing wildly into the sky should have gotten him by now. Sometimes it's like he's not even there.
And the Bible backs me up on that.
Yeah, I suppose it would. But here's the thing about the Bible. It's not true. And you just know that if it didn't exist, you wouldn't be a Christian. You would be a whateverism got into its place, more than likely. With a small possibility of you being a filthy God-hating atheist like me. Because it's just bullshit written by men in order to get you to believe, and without it, someone else would have just written something similar with the same goal in mind. Hence, so many other gods and the religious texts that go with them. I mean, you said it yourself, God is basically impossible to miss, and yet somehow they all did and hit a completely different one. Weird.
Like Psalm 14:1, and these are God's words.
Correction, no they aren't. All you know, and it's the same thing I know, is that someone said they are God's words. Someone wrote it down and said, hey, trust me bro, these are totally G-dogs and not me just making shit up. The difference is that I don't believe random people saying that they are speaking for infinite deities, and you do. And being gullible is not much of a virtue in my opinion.
Now, I'm going to read the mail. I'm not going to write the mail. I want you to understand where I'm coming from.
You're not reading the mail. You're not even reading the letter that someone wrote. What you're doing is reading the thing that someone claims to have been told, and this is what they think they heard when they were told by that person. I mean, it's a hell of a game of whisper that apparently functions across time and space. And frankly, at that point, it's no wonder so much of the message is garbled nonsense. The real wonder of the Bible is why anyone takes that shit as fact.
Psalm 14:1 says, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they do abominable deeds, there is no one who does good.
So, you remember that whole bit when I said you weren't a dickhead? Yeah, my dude, when you read me shit like that, you are sitting there and telling me that I'm a piece of shit. You probably wouldn't use those exact words, but it is what you are saying in more modern parlance. And I don't care. Call me what you want, but don't expect me to take you seriously. And of course, the book that wants you to believe in God says that only idiots and assholes don't believe in God. What the f*** else would you expect it to say? Seriously, tell me, why wouldn't someone happy to lie to you not tell you that they are telling the truth? Dumbest point in the video so far, and that is saying something, because I've been speaking. Being a dumbass is like my whole thing.
And you're like, yikes, Joe, that's really harsh. I understand that, but there's a reason for this.
Well, at least you know, and yikes is hilarious. And yes, there is a reason. I just said it. It literally wouldn't say, God? I don't know. Maybe I'm real, maybe I'm not. You figure it out. Why would it say that? It wouldn't. True or not, anything presenting as truth is going to say that it's true. I don't know why you people think that that's convincing, especially coming out of a book so full of things that are objectively false.
1 Corinthians 2:14 puts it this way.
Is it dumb? Because I'm betting it's dumb. That's why, if you want to convince an atheist of things, the Bible is like the last thing you should be referencing.
The natural person, that would be a non-believer, does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned.
Can't say I've heard that one before, but that's because it's weak as fuck, bro. Atheists aren't all naturalists. That is to say, people who believe only the natural world, as in the things that we know to exist and can be proved, are the only things that can exist. Many atheists are spiritual in a multitude of ways. They just don't believe in the claims of deities. And even spiritual naturalism exists and is a thing, so the natural thing is not even close. Would you mind, not being so bad at this, please?
Now, I believe that anyone who denies the existence of God is what the Bible calls lost.
And I believe that anyone who believes the things written in the Bible as anything other than poetic metaphors about how one should live their life. You know, if they believe the things it says are valid in that sense, anyone who just uses it as guidelines is essentially fine for the most part. I mean, there's still a lot of fucked up shit in there, but you know, baby steps. But if you are not that, you think a single word of it is literal and literally spoken by an all-seeing, all-good, almighty deity, I think you haven't really sat down and thought about the things that the Bible says in any kind of critical way, which is a nice way of me calling you a gullible idiot.
And in need of the saving power of Christ.
Nah, mate, I'm good. I got like terabytes of storage on my servers. Yes, that is servers, plural. What can I tell you? Sick's a filthy data hoarder. I even work off of my nice fancy one. That motherfucker is fast.
And so you might say, well, Joe, you're just a horrible guy. Listen to you. You just called us fools. You said we couldn't understand.
I don't think you're a horrible person. Yeah, I know I said dickhead, but I'm British. I call my best mate a dickhead on the regs. It just doesn't mean the same thing to us, I guess. But I do think that you're wrong. And I don't need a book to tell me that. Although the Bible is a pretty good way to tell if someone's not very bright. You show it to them, and they say something about the good book, and it's time to walk away.
No, the Bible said that. Joe didn't say that, but I do believe what the Bible said. Here's what I think.
I know what you think. You just said it. You said, I didn't say that. This thing that I agree with said that. And if you think that saying that makes you a bad person, Joe, I have some news for you. If you agree with the bad thing, you are a bad person. That's how words work.
I think if you deny the existence of God, you are in danger of eternal hellfire.
No, you don't. I mean, okay, maybe you do, but you only think that because someone told you that. That is someone else's thoughts living inside your head. You have no concept of what that means because it is not something that makes any sense. I don't believe in something that I am unconvinced of because the God who is both all-loving / good and is also all-powerful decided to make me that way on purpose for no reason, so that I would burn forever in hell. These are the ravings of a simpleton who doesn't know how things that make sense, make sense. Be smart, people. Don't be like Joe. But don't be like me either. You'll just be very drunk.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoon Staff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch that!